Hello, everyone. This is the Phrancko Sweater Knitters meeting that meets every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. This week, I am on the East Coast, so it's actually 5:30 p.m. and I am at the TKGA retreat, and it's been a wonderful experience. There seems like there are about 150 people here. I really don't know. I haven't counted. And I have been in class all day today about yoke sweaters. So I am hoping that what I learned today is going to help me finish this design that I've been working on for 2 months now, or 3, or I don't know, forever. I've been working on it forever. Well, hello, Cathy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Serena.
Hello.
Hi, Sumner.
Hi, Phrancko.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Wally.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
So nice to see you all. I would just like to say to whoever sees this video, you're welcome to come join us. This is not a closed group, and we don't have a lot of people dropping in lately. And it's wonderful to see the regulars, and we would like to see some new faces too. So come join us and show us what you're working on and enjoy just spending an hour with us. I also want to say that in a half hour or less, I'm going to have to leave because I'm meeting some friends for dinner, to go to dinner at 6 p.m. And so I'm going to drop out, but I'm going to continue recording the meeting, and everybody else can continue on with it for another half hour.
So you're in Charlotte?
Yes, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Cafe Monty is amazing.
Oh, yeah?
They're so good.
What is that, a
Yes.
restaurant?
It's a restaurant. It's a it's kind of a it's a French restaurant, but it's not the hoity-toity kind. It's like a real French restaurant. So it's kind of like home comfort food French restaurant.
Oh.
So good. Love it. I've family in Charlotte, so we like to make a visit every now and again.
Well, I don't know if our group has decided where they're eating, but I'll throw that into the mix if they haven't decided. Cafe Monte.
Monty. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The guy's name is Monty, or it's Chez Monty, or
No, it's
Cafe Monty. Yeah. Yeah, really, really good French onion soup, like homemade from scratch, roasting the bones and caramelizing the onions, and
oh, good.
So yummy.
I love
making us hungry, Sumner.
I know I'm always talking about food, but no, the food in Charlotte's pretty good. Wherever you go, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun down there.
So how's everybody doing?
Good, thank you. Good. I wasn't here last week, but I watched the meeting. Wally, did you find out about that stitch you were looking for?
No, not yet, because I was supposed to send something to Sumner, but at the end of the meeting, he sent the email, but I couldn't get back on to write it down.
I'll put it in the chat right now, Wally.
Okay.
All right. I got a pen this time.
Yeah, there's a group on Ravelry called Excuse Me, and they help out on this sort of thing. So if you have a translation issue, that's the place to ask. Tell them the pattern and the bit you're struggling with, and somebody will help you out with the translation.
All right, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's an interesting name.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They're really helpful bunch on there.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Ron. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Yes.
Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
A few weeks, but here I am. I just finished up 2 classes, so
Completely?
No, just for the day.
For today?
Yeah. So my class is but right up into Phrancko time, but I made it.
Cindy said they're going
Okay.
really well this year. They're big.
Hmm?
Your classes. Cindy said they're big this
Oh,
year.
we're having to add, like, I'm doing there are 3 sessions of crochet on my schedule now because people just, they're into it, and the knitting and project classes. So people are really, really responding to fiber art stuff right now.
Very cool.
And I got your email about, Ron, about what you were doing with the reselling yarn.
Oh, yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So you don't know what we're talking about here. It was in my newsletter for the shop, but we're starting a monthly thrift pop-up. So people often call us up and ask if we like accept yarn donations or have something to do with yarn that they don't need anymore. Often they want to de-stash, or someone has passed, or they're just getting rid of a bunch of stuff they have hanging around. And there are places that take donations, but often they just can't. Eventually they have to stop. So it's like, I'll give it to schools, and eventually the schools have too much. So what we're doing is we're doing a monthly like thrift store donation driven pop up, and getting those yarns like taken care of. We'll sort through them, tidy them up, and then getting them back to people at like thrift store prices once a month. So we'll have a pop up because, you know, there is a big barrier. There's a big economic barrier between people and nice yarns. And that's always been like something that's on my mind here, that like there's a big gap between the yarns that are very, very nice and what people on fixed incomes, et cetera, can afford. So I'm hoping that this will help bridge that gap and get some good stuff, keep it out of landfills, keep it from moldering in your house, and get it to people who can use it who otherwise wouldn't get the chance to. First
thing I thought of was leave it to Ron. What a great idea.
Thank you.
What a great idea. Yeah. That was so exciting. Anyway, I loved that. I thought I wanted to make a mention.
And you know, we've already, it's been a day and a half since we put out the first newsletter about it, and people have already been responding really, really well. So I hope we can make it work. I hope that it helps people.
That's good. Everybody's looking for a bargain.
Well, right. And it helps the knitter. It helps bring people into your shop for the high-end first release stuff. It helps the person who's trying to offload it, right? It makes it just so much more available to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so perfect. I loved the idea.
Thank you.
I selfishly wanted to show people what I was working on because I thought it was so cute.
Yeah.
My mystery baby blanket.
Yeah.
I made a rocket.
How cute.
Is that the cutest thing? I was like, I
bet.
better get more than this, right? The Y. I mean, that was a little lame, right? You got to pass on the Y. But the rocket, how cute.
That is
cute.
very
cute.
Tim?
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Who's having
I just thought it was fun.
Who's having a baby?
Oh, no one. It was just a baby blanket, mystery baby blanket club that I joined from across the pond over in Jenny's neck of the woods.
What you don't realize, Sumner, is in a few months' time, you're going to get the mystery baby delivered as well.
Yeah. You know, how many times have I like needed a baby blanket and I go, oh, please, I just don't have time to do it, right? This one, it's waiting. I'm just gonna seal it, and it's just ready. Like I'm ready for this one. And the next one, they'd be like, "Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, you get one of those. No.
Hi, Sidra. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Hi, Sidra. You snuck in.
Hi, Sidra.
It's about time I got back here, right?
Like the Brady Bunch on my screen.
Yeah, it's like the Brady books. 3 by 3.
Yeah.
Sidra, were you getting high winds and thunder and stuff again this morning?
We got a lot of rain. I don't think we got the lightning and thunder.
We were getting the lightning and the thunder and kind of high winds and pouring rain for a while. I was like hearing it. It's like, what is this? Because we live way out. And it's like, oh, you can hear it all.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
oh my gosh, that's thunder. So pretty wild. But
Yeah,
it's just drizzling now. It's not doing it. But earlier it was kind of wild.
It's semi-sunny skies right now.
Oh no, we don't have that.
Well, before you leave, Frank, I should show you the hoodies.
The what?
Hoodies.
You're doing a hoodie?
Yeah, I've got actually 2 going.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to call this my test hoodie with an unknown yarn from my stash.
Oh, look at the
look at
Oh,
that.
the pocket is so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neckline. Oh, I recognize that neckline too.
Yep. And so this one is, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I'll finish it, but it really is not yarn that I like. But this one has some real nice yarn. And the size is coming out just the way I want. If I can get it up here. I was putting it back on the needle. Of course, I'm standing on the yarn. But here it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
that's
nice.
pretty yarn.
This is moss green Valley yarns, which is wool silk nylon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, great texture.
I'm having a lot of fun with this, Frank. I might be addicted for a little while.
Wasn't that pocket fun? I really liked doing the kangaroo pocket.
I like all of it. Of course, I like doing your sleeves because they're just so interesting. And then the placket. There you go. You got some more fun with that.
Yes, that's right.
and
wait
the
till you do the hood.
I had done Suzanne's part of Suzanne's method, Suzanne Bryan, but so it's been a while. So I was a little confused by it, but at least I got my test sweater done and I can perfect it on this one. So thank you for that pattern. I love it.
Good. If anyone's interested, that pattern is in Cast On magazine. Actually, I don't remember which issue. Does anybody remember what issue it is? Maybe I'll look it up and say what issue it was. So Cast On magazine, I published that pattern for a hoodie.
Let's see, I have it here, but I don't know if it says summer 2023.
That's it. Summer. The issue is the Cast On magazine, located at tkga.org, and it's the summer 2023 issue.
Yeah. I decided to print it and use a printed version this time. So, and I didn't even have to use my tried and true Cindy and Serena method of rewriting it because of the at the same time stuff.
Really?
I'm finally getting that, I think.
Oh, good.
So I could just mark it on my pattern, and that's kind of exciting to see progress.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's really exciting to me. I love seeing people knitting my patterns. And Sumner, I thought you were going to be the first one to do that hoodie.
Me too, but I needed an extra large. It fit perfect on the shoulders, but I wanted a baggy hoodie. So, and then this sweater that I just finished this sweater.
Oh, show us.
Finished it already. Wow.
Yeah. So
look at that.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
nice.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love that so much.
I did that one for Rhinebeck, but it was too hot in Rhinebeck. And then I got behind on the baby blanket, and I'm like, whatever. It's on deck.
Did you catch up with your baby blanket?
One square and I'm caught up.
Okay.
So yeah. Good. So I'm caught up. And the next one's just cabling with bobbles, which is easy. I could do that blindfolded. This one that I'm doing now, so many ends to tie in.
Right.
Oh my Lord. It literally It's
What
the
is
letter
it
Z.
looking like? Oh, it's just stripes, huh?
Yeah, and it's the letter Z.
Oh,
Z.
I see it. Z.
Z is in
All the way
zebra.
across it.
Oh,
I see
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see. Yes, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like you're
It's
sleeping.
fun. It's textured, like it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's very tactile. So it's fun. I love it. But the ends, the first section of ends took like 45 minutes.
Wow.
No.
That
Because
would put me off. That would put me off.
it does put me off a little, I'm telling you. It'd
Make
be the
another
last time I
rocket.
do that much, but because every 2 rows there's another color,
Yeah.
right? So in this one section between the white and the white, there's white, silver, green, and blue.
Oh my.
So it's a lot of changes, which it's cute. I like it, but with the ends. So
Just
when I'm
to
done with
think
this,
how hard, how much work went into getting the quantities right for the kits for that.
oh, it's got to be insane.
I really
Um,
admire people who put in that kind of work.
Well, the
that.
pattern for this now, you know you write patterns beautifully, Frank, and this is for 6 squares. That has to be
Oh my God.
Wow.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that has to be almost 32 pages.
Oh.
For 6 squares.
I'm sorry, for 10 squares.
Oh,
No.
even
But
so.
I'm sorry, 10 32 pages. Like the next set is the next set of squares is 19 pages for 5 squares. So the amount of instruction is almost ad nauseum. It really is. One thing that's nice about your sweaters is you get to, it's like a formula. It's a recipe,
yeah.
right? You do whatever you want with the whole sweater. The structure is the Phrancko.
Or you could do it exactly as it's described and you get a plain sweater.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So you make it as much or as little as you want. Right.
I should try that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ron,
you should.
we're not going to let you do that, Ron.
Wait,
We'll reject it.
a plain sweater.
What? Yeah. Someone posted a Martin Story sweater that they just finished, and it's in Fair Isle. It's a cardigan, and it took them a year to make it because of all of the pattern work in the sweater.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my goodness, please. The amount, again, it's like it's doing this, right? You know, because they don't tell you that 9 months is sewing in the ends.
So on the subject of sewing in ends, that was part of my knitting class today, was teaching them to weave in using duplicate stitch. And I set time aside for that in my classes. Generally, like, I know this is going to be a chunk of time because, you know, it starts with a stitch anatomy discussion, and then you have to try and identify those things in an actual swatch. And when you're a new knitter, a swatch doesn't look like anything.
Right.
But the ladies in my class today, I explained the stitch anatomy, and they go, I'm like, okay, so the needle goes like this, and they go, and you just follow that path, and then they go like this, and done.
Wow. Oh, sweet. Nice.
Awesome.
I have never seen people pick up duplicate
discovered
stitch
the
that
magic
quickly.
way to explain it.
I feel like it was my same, because I start with the broad strokes, and then if people struggle, I get more narrow. But I did the introductory, like, whirlwind introduction to duplicate stitch, and it was just like,
and they got it.
Oh, I think I did something wrong here. Oh no, there was just a little extra yarn.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
That
How
is
did you
great.
people do this? So that was very great.
Well, like on a baby blanket, you really have to do duplicate stitch, because the baby's gonna like pull it out if you don't, right?
Yeah,
And then you
you're
get the
stuck in
movement
clothes.
both ways with duplicate stitch without ever seeing the end. So yeah, that's a great.
Cindy's
So
taking
proud of
on
my
a
students
challenge that
today.
she's going to be doing a lot of weaving in. If you do that butterfly sweater, the transformation sweater, you've got the
It
yarn
doesn't
for it.
bother me. I know, and I've started, and it doesn't bother me to weave in ends. I like to weave in ends.
Oh, wonderful.
It was like after
And
I
your
learned
mailing
how to do
address
it.
is, if you could just
I have it. I'll
Chat,
share it with
you.
you.
just put it in the
Did
chat.
you say
After
you've
I
actually
learned how to
started
do
it,
from
Cindy?
Suzanne. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's see.
Well, I haven't done the color part. I can show
Oh.
you the part that I've done.
Okay.
I just did the beginning. Hang on, I got to grab it. Here I have the bag. And I've just done the beginning part. I just did the pickup around the shoulders.
I see. Just
So
get
that's all I have
started.
so far.
Wonderful.
Just the beginning. But
Well, I'm
Oh,
very
I've got it.
excited to see
And
that
the
progress.
the skein of yarn is like, look at how big this is.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Because that's that Endiamo white. It's like,
Yeah.
it's huge.
It's a soccer ball. Yeah, it is nice yarn though, isn't it?
We
I
should
love the
trace
yarn.
that.
It's
We should
really
trace
nice.
that little shoulder shape that doesn't look like anything at first that we all came to recognize, and that should be our Phrancko sweaters.
Oh yes, that could be the
emblem.
Phrancko insignia. Yes.
Yeah,
That's right.
We could have little
Yes,
tags,
here's my
little
sweater.
tags to go on
This
the
is a
sweater. And
sweater?
you could have that little thing. That would be good. Yeah.
Just like your first time, you're like, what am I even looking at? And then
Yeah,
on your
and it's
return
like, there
trip,
it
you're
is.
like,
There it
I've got
is.
my little
There it is. There it
thing.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like magic. You just follow the instructions, just keep going. When in doubt, just keep going. You're almost there. And then it's like,
Right. Just,
that
and
is
it
so
is.
cool.
And it is just follow the directions. And I have done too. It's like go through the little YouTube video that Frank has about where he says how to lay out your little shoulders and how you're going to pick up and which one. And it's like I actually do it and I stop it and I look at it so that mine is looking exactly the same. And then it's like, oh, now it's a piece of cake because I understand.
Right.
So it's gotten time for me to get ready to go have dinner. But Cathy, would you like to show us something?
Yes, sure. So Serena made this. She's my sample knitter, but she didn't do the collar. And there was just a plain band collar because that's an option. And then last night I put on this collar, and it's basically a fold over, and you do it from the inside out, and then you just fold it over, and it works perfectly because
isn't that pretty?
with the
And
string.
it has the lace like
It's the lace that's on the sleeves, right?
Yeah.
It has the lace like it's on the sleeves.
If I stand back, can you see the whole thing? Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, very nice.
There we
Oh
go.
yeah, it's
Look,
nice.
yes,
It's got
Look at
lace
that.
at the bottom and the sleeves,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
the
wow.
collar matches.
that
That's
is
very
just
pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
very
wonderful.
nice.
Well, I'm really, really happy with it, and Serena did a wonderful job. So
And it is a Phrancko sweater, right?
it's a Phrancko sweater. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I second.
Wow.
that's great. Thank you for showing it. And
Yeah.
thank you for doing it.
You're
Well,
such a
I'm gonna have to
visionary,
go.
Cathy.
I have plans for dinner that I couldn't set the time for, and it's now. So I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna leave the meeting being recorded, and so you guys can close the meeting out in a half an hour, and the recording will stop at that point. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Enjoy
Have a
dinner.
fun dinner, Frank.
Have a
Bon
nice dinner.
appetit.
Yes.
Well, next
Bye-bye.
week.
So Frank, I wanted to say something too, because Frank is going to come to the KnitWiz Knit Along meeting on Monday and talk about, well, KnitWiz sweaters in general, I guess, or I mean Phrancko sweaters in general, and you know how you can use Phrancko on KnitWiz and make a sweater. So, and the history of it and all of that, in case anybody out there seeing the video wants to make this sweater, just come on by, and it's at 2 o'clock Eastern. And I guess to find the link to go to the Zoom meeting, you just go to knitwiz.com and look at the latest events, and it'll be there. So, and I guess that's all.
And that's on Monday, right?
On Monday at 2.
Monday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Cathy, I have a question on your sweater. So I got the front part of the sleeve finally done, but do I start the joining at the front and then work the sleeve in the front together, or do I? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes.
For some reason I am so confused on this sweater. I don't know why I can't do it.
It's probably this exact same as his round neckline, because I think I did a 3-inch neckline, which is his round neckline,
right?
And for the sweater, and so you would do a few rows
and then do it all
at
together
the same time, and then you finish joining your front neckline. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've just been having a brain fart on this whole thing.
Have you looked at Cathy's YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't help, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do a little troubleshooting thing, or things to watch out for. because there's other things besides getting your needles in the right place for when you're picking up the stitches and stuff. There's other stuff too, like when you're increasing on the sides, or how do you increase in pattern and things like that.
I love your rib. Like that's a great, like, what is the rib? It's a raised rib. What is that?
It's just 3 by 3 knits, 7 purls. 3 knits, 7 purls.
Oh wow, I love it. It looks great.
But the thing is, the reason it is because, well, you can see I blocked it today, but see, it pulls right into the lace.
Oh wow. Oh, that's fun.
And that's why it's 3 and 7.
That's fun. Yeah, I love it. It's a great look. Yeah.
Thanks.
The older I get, the more I like vertical stripes.
Well, yes, there's a reason I do so many vertical stripes.
And it's also a really just classic good look on people.
Yeah, it's very flattering.
It is. It just looks really nice.
Yeah, very flattering.
And looking at your sweater, Cathy, I think it looks a lot harder than it actually is to knit.
Yeah,
because for mine, looking at it, it's like, oh, I don't know how to start the pattern as I go around so that it works. And it's like, after you get it in pattern, then it would be easier to follow. But to start it, to me, would be like, I don't know. But I know that's all in the pattern.
Yeah. Well, and Serena did a great video too. And Frank has a great video. Both of them have good videos on here's how you do, and here's what it should look like, and here's how you join, when you have to take that left needle and for the sleeve caps and start going around in a circle and all of that.
Yeah, that one got me for a long time because I was never one that did magic loop. I always did double circs. Oh yeah. So when you're starting to bring up and pick up his shoulders and go around in one direction, finally, oh, it spun me around awful. But I got it, and it was watching the YouTube videos.
The strange thing, these hoodies I'm making, I didn't really use magic glue too much. This is like a 30-inch cord.
Oh, okay. And that's it's a bigger yarn, isn't it, too, Serena?
Well, he is designed Aaron yarn, but
okay, so it's a little bit heavier.
I'm using worsted.
Okay, yeah.
So this is not as thick or big as his, but I somehow managed to do it with a smaller circumference needle.
Yeah.
And it works fine for me. It's a little bit tight, but.
Are you doing the size of the sweater from the pattern that was printed, or are you doing a custom Phrancko?
Well, the white one is the extra small. And this green one, because it's worsted and I don't have gauge, I started with the large for the shoulder cast on. And then I adjusted and didn't do as many increases after the sleeves.
Okay.
At the bottom of the sleeves or what have you.
Because I was doing the large and it fit, but there was not enough ease for the hoodie that I wanted. So now I think I'm just going to make an extra large and I'll shape it.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. I mean, the math is, to me, is not that complicated. And there's a lot of increases, of course, initially for the top of the shoulders. Then it kind of steadies out. But then when you get to the very bottom, you can stop.
Yeah.
You can stop doing increases either on the sleeves or the body or both.
Yeah.
To get the chest that you want.
Right. My issue with it was I picked a sweater for the size that I would normally do a sweater for, but I wasn't taking into account that that's a fitted hoodie and I wanted a baggy hoodie. So that was like, I needed to build in the 4 inches of ease.
Oh, yeah.
And that sweater does not have 4 inches of ease in the pattern.
Yeah, and it depends on the yarn. I don't know if I will ever make it an Aran. I just don't have that in my stash, but I have a lot of worsted. Yeah. So I'll have to adjust because I plan on making several. I just like it.
Yeah, it's a great pattern. And I had made 3 of them before I realized, look at the picture, stupid. It's a fitted sweater and I need a baggy sweater, right? So that's all.
And it's pretty darn fast. I'm sure you'll do it in about a day and a half.
Yeah, no. It'll be about 3 weeks. But I did also figure out how to put the cord in the hood. That works out so nicely. I did figure that out. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna do a hem and a purl stitch so it folds over so I can sew in a hood. And I just bought the hoodie pulls.
Yeah.
So I'll have regular hoodie pulls rather than I-cord. So
very cool. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I can't wait to see what Ron does with it. I'm sure there's going to be some design on it, and it'll probably be some like electric colors.
Right now, because I'm redoing and making notes to make the integrated collar hoodie, and earlier last month I did an evening circular weaving class, like as a Halloween themed event. And so I have all of these just like little butterflies of yarn left over from the class. There's materials that didn't get used. So I'm turning them into
look at that.
Oh my.
Oh wow.
It looks like a rag rug.
So pretty though.
Yeah.
I would wear that. I love it.
It's just all the leftover materials from the weaving class.
Oh wow.
Are you weaving in the ends?
So each time I changed yarns a lot in the back collar because I didn't want big patches of color while the rest of the body had little stripes.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a deceptive amount of ends. But what I'm doing is when I change yarns, because it's so wild, I just overlap the 2 yarns for like 3 or 4 stitches.
That's how you have to
So
do.
I'll just trim them after I block them.
Or I could email you Cindy's address.
Right. But see, in a lot of places, I have not left enough yarn to be woven in.
Yeah.
It's held together for 3 stitches. It's structurally duplicate stitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, once it's blocked, I'll just trim them up, and I mean these will be on the inside. I just have to worry about
Those
collar, which looks like
the
the Muppets fell in a wood chipper.
The Muppets fell in a wood chip.
But
Nice.
that's what I'm doing as I rework through the integrated
That's
shawl
lovely.
collar, and I made a few like design adjustments and decisions as to how exactly I wanted that to be picked up in a way that's easy to explain to others and has the nice
to me, that's what you mean, right?
and has a nice look and structure, because the ones I made before I just kind of did. So like that's where all the shoulders and the
neck,
the shoulders and the neck meet.
Oh, that
right
looks
there.
really nice.
So, and it's being worked up on a 13, so like it'll show a gap if there's a gap, and trying to decide where I wanted the pearl bumps of this pickup, where a combination of where it looked okay versus where it folded the best. Should it be picked up pearl wise or knit wise? So I'm doing that with more care this time. So
it's lovely
progress.
It's really nice.
It'll be, I don't know that I'll ever be anywhere cold enough to wear this, but it's kind of my style.
Oh yeah, I think it's gorgeous.
Scrappy
Reminds me of Cindy's happiness sweater that she Ron's happiness sweater.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I'm working at it as super bulky gauge. The scraps are all kinds of different gauges. It's tons of different yarn. And it's all held along with one strand of worsted weight black.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Now, question, is it different fiber contents?
Yep.
Wow.
I've got cottons. I've got this is a strand of glow in the dark polyester.
Oh my God.
So those stripes glow in the dark. There's alpaca, like glittery fuzz, all kinds of stuff.
I cannot believe how much I learned from you, Ron. You're
my entire life is just like swatches and throwing things together. You know, that's the benefit of having people in the shop to do day-to-day stuff. I can just throw things together and see what happens. I've got a big drawer full of swatches that were like, here's an idea I had. Yeah, you could do that if you wanted to. Into the drawer. Never to be seen again.
Well, but some of them turn out to be sweaters. I mean, we've seen all the different sweaters that you've done that that did start out as like, oh, here's a little swatch of this. How does that work out?
And I wanted to, so I'm kind of on an initiative right now to encourage less like material waste or using everything up that you have. And you know, I think this will be a good example of these kind of color coordinate, but it's really just like a mess of random,
just a bunch of different
Halloween-ish colored yarns. But I've got all kinds of shades of green and orange and purple. We basically went through our back stock of like half-used balls of yarn or discontinued yarns or things that had been donated to us, found everything that was in that color family and made them into butterflies because they were for weaving rather than like in Tarja or something. Made them into butterflies. Everyone took what they wanted. Oh, we've got a message in the chat.
This is Allie Reeves. She said, hi, sorry, everyone. Or maybe it's I'm on a new device and struggling to get audio and video. I can only see half of you guys. Hope you don't mind me listening. No, fine to listen. Fine to join in.
Join in.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
You are welcome to haunt us.
In case that's not the half she can see.
Hello. But yeah, I just wanted to have an example up of something you could do if you've got a ton of little tiny scraps. You could do something with a bunch of little tiny scraps.
Well, I used to save a lot, but now I'm more brave and I throw it away. But it's so little. It's like only enough for a lifeline, really, and that's mainly why I kept some of that. But
you would need a big
nice
stack
to
of
see
scraps.
you do that, because at some point I probably will, because I haven't been knitting long enough to have too much scrap.
Yeah, even a few like a couple extra skeins you don't know what to do with, but that look good together, churn them into butterflies and make a nice scrappy, like, it's fun if you're the sort of person who enjoys, and I mean, it doesn't have to be a garment, right? You could make a fun looking bag. You could make a throw for your sofa. Scraps are useful. And when you like something enough
A
to get a skein of
bookmark.
it.
I think it'd be fun to make bookmarks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I'm on a waste not, want not kick.
I haven't made a bookmark yet, so.
So Ron, did you just use yarns that were all about the same weight?
It varies. I've got,
Okay.
so I think the lowest gauge is sport weight, up to super bulky. And because it was for a weaving class where they make like little circular woven wall hangings, lots of different weights, lots of different textures, so they can really mix and match and play with the weaving. So yeah, I'm left with all kinds of, and I don't have the swatch I made. But when I swatched for this sweater, it's a Phrancko, the base made into one of my integrated shawl collars. I just randomly made sections out of all different sizes across the gamut, so I could get an average gauge for what it was and still get the sweater the right size. So that's another reason that a Phrancko is good for a project like that. If you're doing some kind of scrappy thing, or you're using a really wild, like thick and thin or novelty yarn, or if you've spun an art yarn, you know, those really wild yarns with like the bullion, like beehive things, or big slubs decoratively. As long as your swatch is large enough, you can get an average gauge to make a perfectly good sweater. And a published sweater might not be great for that kind of project because of how uneven it is, but the Phrancko works just perfectly to really.
Well, in the published sweater, I'm always left trying to match the gauge and like go up, go down, change to a wood needle, which I don't like, you know, change to this, change to that. And it's like, with the Phrancko, it's just, I just do it till I get the fabric that I like, and then you measure it and the pattern miraculously appears. It's great.
Yeah. I like that you can get the fabric and the drape right. And then you make a sweater out of that.
Rather than it's like,
I've had some pretty stiff sweaters
this.
Because I had to knit them too tight to get gauge.
Yeah.
Because the person who wrote the pattern had a death grip, you know?
Yeah.
Well, or they were just using a little bit different, or they were just using a little bit different yarn, and you didn't have that same yarn. Whether you couldn't get it, or you couldn't afford it, or you didn't have it.
It's discontinued most of the time.
We've had that happen too.
Oh,
don't get me started on discontinued. We are doing the bathroom, and I just wanted to match what we had downstairs, which was inexpensive gray floor tiles and subway tiles. Everything has been discontinued, so we had to choose different colors.
We had a client here. Her mom was visiting. Her mom lives in Manchester, and so she was in the States visiting, and came to the yarn shop and picked up yarn to make. It's being made in Manchester, so I guess it's a jumper and not a sweater. And so she was, and it was materials held together. The pattern called for like an Aran weight held together with a mohair, and they were mixing and matching and getting a lot of stuff. And the mohair, they like to tie everything together, didn't quite make it. So she came in and was like, she ran out of the yarn. We didn't have any more of it. I contacted the manufacturer because it was on the website still. So I contacted the manufacturer. They're like, no, we actually just discontinued that. We don't have any in stock.
Yep, that was it. Well, we had ordered the tiles, and we thought it was because it was showing it was online. We had even talked to people, and it was supposed to be here, and then it's like, oh no, that's been discontinued. We don't have any more of that at all.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot.
When we were visiting Jerry's mom in Idaho, it's like you have to pick a different tile. So it's like we're not seeing anything in person. We're just looking at it online, and it's like, oh, I think this will be good. And then the contractor said, you need to pick paint. And I'm like, haven't even seen the tile. How am I picking a paint color? But I did. It's a mild sage green, and I like it, I think. We'll see. When the tile gets here in another couple weeks.
Yeah.
When the tile is right.
When the tile is right, yes. Allie, we're glad that you joined us. Do you have any questions about the Phrancko sweater or anything that you want us to address?
You're also welcome to just watch us like a podcast.
You are, yes. People do that too. That's fine.
Anyone is welcome to participate as much
or not participate. But I wanted to.
Hi, I think I've just managed to unmute. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
I have been here before. Unfortunately, I've just got a new device and I'm really struggling to get the video to work on it. And I couldn't get the sound until just then. I thought I had it, and then I was just trying it, and you can obviously hear me now. Yeah.
Yes. And nice to hear your voice again.
I know, lovely. Yeah. So I've actually just finished that Suzanne Bryan boot camp.
Oh, yay.
And the reason that I originally joined these Phrancko meetings is because once I'd finished, I'd seen that hoodie that he'd spoken about, and so I joined the Knitting Guild because it was in the July edition of the cast on.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would like to do. And I'm presuming that is a Phrancko sweater, is it?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what my next project is going to be. I'm just clearing off a couple of pairs of socks and that for Christmas, and then that's going to be the first ever garment that I ever knit, really, apart from the hats and things like that. But I've never knitted a garment to fit for myself, and apart from the teddy bear cardigan at the end of the Suzanne Bryan boot camp. And so that's what I'm hoping to do, that hoodie. And I heard you talking about hoodies before, Sumner, was it?
Yeah.
And you were saying it was, were you talking about that particular hoodie?
I was.
And I don't want a tight fitting. I want a very loose one, and so I was interested in what you were saying, but I could only hear bits of it because I couldn't get my.
So what I would probably do, and his sizing seems to me that it's literally got 2 inches of positive ease, right? So I normally am a medium or large. So when I'm knitting the extra large, it's perfectly sized. Right. So if you look at your swatch that you're going to make to knit his sweater, you want to take your swatch and calculate what would equal 4 inches.
Okay.
Take that number of stitches and look it into the pattern, and that's the size that you'd want to fit.
Right.
Because the pattern is printed for, like, a normal Phrancko pattern, you really can't do that with. But because it's printed with the sizes and how many stitches per inch and how many sizes per size sweater, right? How many cast on, right?
Yeah.
Build in yourself 4 inches of ease. What does your 4 inches look like?
Okay.
Then add that to the sweater's number of stitches to cast on. Circumference. Okay. And then you're going to have the right size, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
Okay, thank you.
Mine ended up being extra large, where I'm normally a medium large. Extra large is going to be fine. And with pretty much, it wasn't with my first like 2 Phrankkos, but after I get down underneath about 2 inches under the arm, I will decrease along the underarm seam.
Right.
A couple of stitches, like on either side of a faux seam. Yeah. And then in the next couple of inches, I'll decrease again, and I'll decrease again, and I'll decrease again. And that takes the squareness out of the sweater.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Great.
But a faux seam is helpful
Oh.
with the decreases or increases. Like if you do a faux seam, it gives you a very good demarcation point of where to add or do any shaping in a really bad sweater.
Does it have that in the pattern, or
No.
is that something? Oh, that'd be too much for me.
The pattern's a square fit, which is fine, and it's great for a baggy hoodie. Maybe just decrease the end ribbing in a smaller needle, right? Like maybe decrease 10 stitches on that last round, and then do your ribbing. And I think then that's going to be fitted and baggy enough, and just a comfortable traditional hoodie.
That'd be brilliant. Thank you. At the moment, I'm certainly not adventurous enough to start, decreasing. If somebody told me to knit and drink out of a blue coffee cup, that's what I'd have to do.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you. I would do the same thing. But yeah, that's fine. And yeah, you could do it just as it's written.
Okay. And this group is always here to help as well.
Yeah.
I'll be here with my long tail cast on, ready to go, I think.
Yeah,
Serena, I don't know if you were in when Serena was showing us. She's got 2 of these in progress. So Serena's our newly minted Phrancko hoodie master as well.
All right.
Yes.
And you made some, were you saying you made some gauge adjustments with your other because it's a little lighter weight?
Yeah, I'm not using Aran yarn. I'm using worsted. And so I don't know if you use Ravelry, but I'll probably have some notes on Ravelry about this. If you, and because I like diagrams. So I'm going to write myself a little diagram for the kangaroo pocket. And then there's a certain page in the pattern, I printed it, where you can see the maximum stitches for the body.
Right.
And that's a good place to start for a chest size. So, for example, I needed, I think, 151 stitches for my gauge. So I went to look which size had that.
Right.
And that's the size I chose to make.
Okay. Okay.
Right. And that's where if you wanted it really baggy, you'd add 4 inches in your own gauge. And then you pick the size right there.
Right. Yeah. So if you need a little help with that, then I can give you some guidance.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This group is very good at showing up for people who need a little help or want to share ideas or get pointers.
I remember a couple of years ago when I first started. I mean, I've always been able to knit, but I didn't, just basic stuff really, baby cardigans and things like that. And during that, a couple of years ago, I started to knit that. Have you ever anybody seen that Wonderful Wallaby?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I started to knit that. There are so many like amendments, like, well, you can do it this way, you can do it that way, you can do. That's no good for me at all at this stage. I just need it.
Yes, Carol made it very confusing in the book. I agree, because I have it at home and I've tried it, but I get to a point where I stop making it because I don't understand.
Well, that's exactly what I did. And then I went on Ravelry and I just fell down a rabbit hole, basically. I ended up on all kinds of groups and, on different pockets that they do and different, oh my word. Anyway, it's still in a bag. It's still in a bag in the attic somewhere. 3/4 of the way done. It was just, there's too many variables for me. At this stage anyway. I mean, possibly in the future I'll be able to. No.
Right. And knitting a Phrancko plain, there's nothing wrong with it. I got a bunch of them, and I just follow his directions.
All the ones
That's all
I
I
did
do.
are all the ones I've done are plain, and I have done 7. If you look at the Ravelry group under pictures, you can see the different ones that I've done. I've done all different sizes because I do them for the grandkids and the kids, but I've done all mine very plain.
Yeah. And it's just following the directions. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to.
Right.
unless you're wrong.
Unless you're wrong.
Well, it's approachable whether you need your hand held every step of the way or whether you thrive on being pushed out of the nest.
It truly is. It truly is.
Oh.
And the thing that it is that it goes with your yarn, whatever yarn you choose to do. It goes with your gauge, whatever gauge you happen to get, and your measurements, whichever ones you want.
Yeah.
So you can do it I've done it for little kids, and I've done it for guys that were 6'3". That's
you've done it in different yarns. You've done it in different yarns as well, have you?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all of mine are in different yarns.
Now this, I think they're referring to his website, Allie.
Yeah, not the hoodie.
I'm on Ravelry. If you go to the Phrancko group, then under pictures, there's a forum of pictures, and you just go through and look, and you'll see all the different ones. I'm Red Wing Ranch.
I think I have joined that group, that Phrancko group, and I've never been able to find it again on Ravelry. I'm in a few groups, and I've been briefly there and never seen them again. I think I need chucking out the nest on Ravelry as well.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, but thank you so much. Thank you. I need to actually make the time to sort of have a look around, because I definitely want to knit that. I loved it when I saw it. I was on one of these Zooms when he first mentioned it, and I said, where's the pattern going to be? And he said it's going to be published in the July cast on. So I joined the knitting guild thing, and waited, and then there it was in the July issue. So that's going to be my next project. Now I've finished swatching for Suzanne Bryan.
Yeah, I'm waiting for still. I guess hopefully I'll be in one of her soon upcoming boot camps.
Really?
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I signed up to be on the waiting list.
Right, it starts at a very basic level.
Yeah.
Summer, yeah, you're happy to.
Always good to go back to the basics.
Absolutely. Well, I always think that, but
yeah, have good foundation. Yeah,
I mean, some of the people that I was on there with were quite experienced knitters. I was like, everything was a revelation for me. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. But so the longer I knit, so 30 plus years knitting, I think sometimes a lot of what I do is just create bad habits.
Yeah.
So going back to the basics is perfect. It's always good.
I've always said that because I'm actually a dog trainer, and I have people come along, and I run classes, and I have people come along, and because they've had dogs, and they've said, oh well, they're okay, and I don't want to go to the basics, I want to go in the advanced class, and sometimes it's easier just to let them go in there and make, dogs are great levelers, so
yes.
It's
very
easier
humbling.
easier to let them go in there and make a fool of themselves and say, no, you need to be in the 9 o'clock basic class, and then they agree, But it's surprising how many bad habits that you pick up, isn't it, by teaching yourself, and I think a lot of the experienced knitters on Suzanne Bryan's groups, they, they were saying, "Oh my God, I've done this for years and never realised," and
I was doing it the wrong way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
And it is
every
one of
day
those
was a
things.
school day for me.
There's always 5 or 6 different ways to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just have to find the one you like the best.
Yeah.
Right. And that I'm constantly finding little things that I go, wow, really? That's how you do that? Are you kidding? Okay. Fine with me. I'm not proud.
Yeah.
Fine with me.
Yeah, I guess
yeah,
for me it was just learn it. The value I've taken from it is because I hadn't knit for a lot of years and then suddenly came back to it. It was nice to learn how to get it to be the best I could. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And like she says, she can't teach you to knit on in an hour Zoom on a Thursday evening, but if you take the skills that she's giving you and then go away and practice that and try and get it as good as you can, and she's always happy to review it, and that's how you improve. She can't do it for you. You have to put the work in, don't you?
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Cindy did it.
I did all 3, and then I did a class on pockets and another class on socks that was 4. And I really learned a lot, and I thought I knew how to knit. And some of
you
the
were
things
saying that, that
some of the things, it wasn't that I was necessarily doing them wrong, but I just didn't know.
Right.
And we've come to the end of our time, so we need to say goodbye. I know that Frank runs it, and I was going to let Ron do it, but Ron's gone. So so I'll just say it. It was lovely to see you all today, and for anyone watching, please feel free to join us. We'd love to have you, and we talk about knitting and Phrancko, and we laugh, and sometimes it's gardening or weather or food, but you're welcome to join us, whatever it is. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a nice
everyone.
week,
Thanks
everyone.
Thanks for having
Bye-bye.
me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.